Let me just quickly go through and fix something. So, once I do this... what the fuck? So... who banished? Bro, I did not get banished to the void, bro. No, it was my IP address. So I'm just unlisting the streams now. There we go. No, okay, now nothing's on there now. Now I'm clean. And I'm safe. Okay, now let's get back to that.
It's no secret that the Geometry Dash community has been plagued by years and years of controversy. Top players rise and fall. Creation teams
Am I in this, bro?
make some of the greatest and most innovative levels for their time that are eventually overshadowed by more creators in the future. New challenges are set for mankind, and exposal videos are made. Today we're going to be looking at the Geometry Dash Political Compass, a tool I constructed to help each and every one of you navigate the vast wasteland of conflicting ideologies about the game. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider donating to my presidential campaign. So first I'm going to explain roughly how this political compass is organized, and then we will work our way from more centrist positions that the majority of the community is likely to hold, moving towards the more extremist positions. These positions will be illustrated by different figures in the Geometry Dash community, with a short description before moving on to the next one. The position of someone on the y-axis, whether they are up or down, regards their position on how much moderator and rob top control they want in the game. For example, someone who is towards the top of the compass will most likely want rob top and the moderators to have more power, absolute power, and exert more control over the rest of the community, whereas someone very far down on the compass would more likely be able to advocate for less moderator control, and for example, less strict guidelines about which levels are rated and which community members are accepted. Position on the x-axis will show how much a community
I'm probably a
member
left
is
libertarian
hierarchical
on
in
this
nature,
one.
and how much of a gap in power there should be between your average Geometry Dash player and top community figures. For example, someone on the far left would want almost every level rated as long as it didn't break any major community guidelines, and someone on the far right would only want the best of levels to be rated. It should be noted that these are all rough approximations of these community figures. Some are going to be quite a bit more extreme than others, as you will notice as we go on. It should also be noted that this conversation generally excludes popular political philosophers within the game, such as Karl Bloch and John Deadlock. Starting in the moderate ring, we have Kawaki. Kawaki's a very interesting case because he is every single political ideology at the same time. All of these perspectives tend to cancel out and land them pretty much in the center. Next in the liberal right corner, we have Denny. Denny is more genuinely moderate, however leans to the right ever so slightly as he does charge money for tips and tricks on how to get better at Geometry Dash. Next up we have GD Cologne. If not for a couple factors, GD Cologne would most likely be at the very center. However, he does tend to have a lot of distrust in RobTop and his ability to place coins and levels, as well as his ability to make sight-readable gameplay, positioning him a little farther down on the political compass. Due to his humble attitude towards his accomplishments, I have placed him just slightly to the left. Pride is a very similar story, however by default has slightly more trust in the moderator system and RobTop. Next up we have the more active ring, however these are not considered extremists. Starting with Cherry Team and AP Team, these generally tend to have more trust in RobTop and the moderator community, as they are large creator teams that are almost guaranteed to have their levels justly and fairly rated. To some extent this also applies to Wellesley, as he is again a very popular creator and a popular community figure, however he is not an entire creating team by himself, and thus can't rely quite as heavily on the coherence of the mod team. I've also put AP Team to the right of Cherry Team as they have only really released the largest of projects, whereas Cherry Team has created some more fun levels that aren't exactly top 1 extremes. Down in the lib right corner, adjacent to Denny and Aiden GD, we have Kai Guy and Lemon Cake, who are both very focused on their own individual economic power. These two are also known for their mass levels of production of subliminal pro-spam and frame-perfect gameplay propaganda, attempting to radicalize younger generations within the community to advocate for gameplay that the majority of humans simply cannot physically do. This is of course very independent of the mod team, as the levels that they create for this propaganda are absolute fucking dog shit. Between these two is Aiden GD, who is very much completely independent of RobTop standards, as a Zer Flare is technically kind of maybe a
Bro, why is this shit not letting me see chat, bro? This is so retarded. Excuse me? Aww. Bro, I don't want to be doing these fucking captures. Oh. Oh, kill yourself. I literally just can't read chat right now. Wait, what? You telling me I just literally cannot read chat? Oh, that's so bullshit. I genuinely just can't.
Stolen level compared with.
Okay, so I can't fucking see the chat. That's lovely.
Its
I guess
outdated
I'll keep
decoration
watching
would be
this, I
very
guess?
unlikely
What
to
the
receive a
fuck?
rate on release unless it was pressured and forced on RobTub like it was with the Tidal Wave Massacre. He has also been placed further to the right due to some of his comments that he has made on Discord. Next we have Aonair, who
What?
is much more accepting
What the
of
fuck?
unconventional creating styles, as well as challenges and tasks that have nothing to do with the mod team. I've also put myself right next to him, as I think most levels, unless they violate broad community guidelines, or are basically just a glorified layout, should be at least probably given a star rate. Next we have Zanny, who is so fat that he took up 2 spaces on the chart. Of course he's not very hierarchical, I mean how could he be? He's Sonic Wave Infinity Calories. He's also not too heavily affiliated with or takes too seriously with the mod team, as he created the fake moderator mod on Geode, and besides, he's too busy Usain bolting to the fridge to really care if his levels get rated or not. Next we have Nexus, who is less hierarchical because he will just showcase any cool level, whether it's created by a big celebrity or not, and beats levels that he showcases. On the other hand, FNMO4 will showcase stuff that's usually created by larger names, but occasionally something created by a smaller name if it has a high chance of getting rated, or generally recognized throughout the community. It should be noted that FNM has retired from his political career, except for when it's time to showcase Eternus. Twit12 is also very much able to rely on the mod team as he's a very good creator, and is a little less hierarchical, showing cool clips made by literally anyone on his Daily Dose of GD channel. Next we have the political extremists. Some of these are more extreme than others, however I have only limited us to 3 rows for time's sake. Some of these community figures are quite controversial, while others are simply just put here because they are ever so slightly less moderate than someone who is directly next to them closer to the center. Started off all the way up we have Viperin, who of course is very trusting in the moderator team as he is one of the elder mods. Trusting the system because he pretty much is the system. Right next to Viperin we have Kairos' Pocky Winefish, who is extremely hierarchical because he thinks that he can just pretty much release garbage, and the stupid, poor, middle class / working class will just eat it up because it's a really hard level. On the most extreme authoritarian right end we have the Real Mike. Real Mike is extremely hierarchy oriented because if he has more power he can get away with a lot of the crazy fucking shit that he says all the time. While his approximation towards the mod team is very close, it's not because he necessarily likes the mod team or how they run things, but rather that if the mod team were comprised of people like the Real Mike, there'd be an extremely strict, almost religious upholding of large community figures and lots of media repression regarding any potential scandals that someone like the Real Mike possibly has been in. Another signifier that the Real Mike is very far right is that he appears to have not taken a shower since Element 111RG was created. Below the Real Mike is Stormfly, who is not quite as radical as the previously mentioned people. Stormfly is very much leaning on the side of hierarchy as he considers much of the community's criticism as completely worthless and only really associates himself with high-profile projects. He's also very trusting of the mod team because every level that he's created is guaranteed to be rated as long as he puts the words "the hell" at the beginning. And if you mention this to him, you will probably get disappeared. Below Stormfly we have Riot, who again isn't quite as radical. I've only placed him this far on hierarchy because he's very much looked up to in the community and also can rely very heavily on RobTop's mod team, as pretty much all of his levels will always get rated. I've only placed him in the area that's very hierarchical because of his status, however I do think that he is much more accepting of new names if they are good at the game and can prove themselves. Starting off the next corner we have Space UK. Space UK doesn't exactly love the mod team, as any authority figure that could have figured out that he was hacking he just genuinely has an aversion to, and also his former power and status in the community gave him a lot of money. Next up we have X-Creator Goal, who has been compared to the Zodiac Killer in his prioritization of the afterlife. The reason X-Creator Goal is farther down on the compass is because he simply does not have the best relations with the mod team, as generally speaking they aren't so great with his antics revolving around 2.2 clickbait and discussing religious controversies in his Geometry Discord server. Next we have the most extreme Librite, which is Advi Styles. Advi, who is a very infamous, let's say, child enjoyer, and as a result is very much not on good terms with the mod team or the rating system, as all of his rated levels were transferred over to the Shadow Realm account. He also would of course prefer almost zero moderation so that in the darkness he can do stuff. He's also extremely hierarchical because of his immense amount of power and subscribers and following on the YouTube platform, which is the only reason that he still exists in the community to this day. This is pretty much the same case for Crazen, however Crazen had a much smaller following on YouTube, and therefore is just slightly less hierarchical. Next to these two, we have just a GD player, who I've put down here with Noctifly, not necessarily because these two are fucking evil like the previous two I mentioned, but mostly just because they're assholes and RobTop probably doesn't like them. Next to these two, we have Absolute, who is of course the extreme opposite of RobTop. This man is an absolute, pun absolutely intended, anarchist, giving everyone equal access to every single hack in the game, such as speed hack, no-clip, botting, etc. with his mega hack tool. The only reason he's slightly more hierarchical than some people on this list is mega hack costs a little bit of money, which is more than fair, but it's slightly less communist of him. Next up in the most extreme lib left, we have W Popoff. W Popoff kind of just does whatever he wants. Again, will take on challenges that have nothing to do with the rating system, such as beating Slaughterhouse 5 times, while also not handling the game in an extremely over-serious hierarchical manner, staying true to his roots with the default profile picture, and just playing the game for fun, even if he's absolutely fucking cracked at it. This is also the case with Slink, however, a lot of Slink's accomplishments are more aligned with the rating system, so I've placed him right above W Popoff. Again, skipping over Zanny's fat ass, we have the bald legend himself, Eric Van Wouwen. EVW is probably the most wholesome, least hierarchical guy I can think of, sending pretty much any half-decent level to RobTop during level request streams, and just having fun with it and the content grind. In the very corner of this area we have Acsent, who is also not hierarchical at all, as he will showcase pretty much anything, and can rely on the mod team to raid his levels, even if they play like shoving a gun up your ass. There's not much to say about Joseph, Stallion, GD, or G-jumping. Dude, do these puns count as dad jokes? Are they that bad? I mean, I'm not a dad, at least to my knowledge. Oh fuck. Wait. Oh no, am I gonna have to pay child support? And finally, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, RobTop. Honestly, his rating standards are much lower than most moderators. He doesn't take himself too seriously, which very much serves to his benefit, so he's not too hierarchical. But of course, he is the system, and I would assume that he trusts himself to make good decisions for the game, even if it takes 6 or 7 years, so he's all the way up on the compass. So yeah, that was the geometry-political compass. Now, obviously, this is an April Fool's video. I'm pretty sure this compass, even in and of itself, is not very consistent. This video is more so just to poke fun at the overly serious attitude towards the game that some people have, to the point where it feels like they're arguing about something as if millions of lives are at stake and countries are shaped after the outcome of some sort of controversy. Of course, none of these should be taken seriously at all, and with the exception of people like Crazen, I don't mean any harm to anyone in the community. The whole point of this is that it takes itself too seriously and it's completely overblown. So yeah, if you did enjoy today's video, please like and subscribe. If you haven't seen any of my other content before...
That's a very sad way to end the stream, but ultimately, I kind of have to because of the fucking thing, bro. Really? That's so bad. Like, oh my gosh. Like, what? Okay, that's lame. Have a good one, everyone. I'm gonna peace out, I guess. See ya.